Hello, I'm Martin Fencka and welcome to the first episode of another of my Civilization 5 Vox Populi series. So I'm finally back after 1 week break from recording, and that break gave me some time to check all the patches, all the changes that I've missed during the previous series. It was like 76 episode series after all, so more than 2 months when I wasn't able to update the game. And well, there was like 4 or 5 patches that changes the game pretty significantly. We'll get to all these changes as we enter the game. For now, what we're gonna talk about, first of all, the version of Vox Populi that we're gonna be using. The latest one, it's from the 9th of September, and second, as usual, because this is the first series, it's more like an introduction, so we'll go through the settings and I'll show you 3 different starting locations, and you guys will have the option to decide which of those 3 we'll be using for this series. And again, as usual, when I upload the next episode, so episode number 2, I will make all 3 of these initial save files available for you in case you want to try them as well, if you want to play on the same map as I will. Okay, so that's the start, the Vox Populi version. I think we can jump into the setup and check what we'll be using for the series. I actually changed my mind after checking all the changes that we missed. I decided to not go with England as I was thinking about, like when I was ending the previous series. Instead, I decided to go with something stronger that will give me some more room to maneuver in case I don't go the ideal route. I won't get punished so heavily. So decided to go with stronger save. We'll go with Russia. Russia is pretty damn strong because of Siberian riches. Their unique unit and unique building actually come into the game quite late, so I'm hoping that by the time the game will be already decided, more or less, so it'll be more like a win more condition, but we can really abuse their unique ability, so we'll check that in the moment. When we check the advanced setup, I wanted to go with something like really basic. There are so many changes that I don't want to go like with anything surprising on the map. So I kept the usual, I went with Pangea, standard size, and with the usual amount of saves and usual amount of city-states. So standard settings. The only thing that I changed here, well, of course, that the epic game pace starting in ancient era, 4 billion years old world, temperate, rainfall, normal. Here, the only thing that I changed, I set the sea level to low because I want the map to be a little bit bigger. I want to give the AI some more room to grow, to make them a little bit stronger, because the more room, we have seen that in the previous series, the more room the AIs have, the more scary they become, the more difficult the game is. So I decided to give them a little bit more like breathing space. Resources on standard. As for the advanced options, I completely disabled the event system, no ancient ruins, no tech trading, tech brokering. Raging barbarians, transparent diplomacy, and quick combat. The usual settings. Did I mention no ancient ruins? I think I did, but just in case. Yep, so the most standard settings except for the low sea level. And once again, here there are so many changes that I really don't want to be surprised by anything. I want to be able to focus on what's different without like being surprised by anything unusual on the map. So this is the reason why everything is as standard as possible. Okay, so these are the settings, and now we can check the starting locations. So maybe before we do that, we can talk about Russian unique ability building and unit. So most important, I think, for most of the game will be Siberian riches as our unique ability. All strategic resources provide double their normal quantity. Well, there is not much to say about that. Receive plus 20 science when you naturally gain a tile. This is the strong part. Scaling with era and border growth is 25% faster. So we really want to focus on the early game, on growing our territory and getting the extra science to get ahead and then snowball the lead. So this is what I will try to abuse as much as possible. Of course, it's nice to have the extra strategic resources, but I mean, it's not such a big deal. We can always play around the lack of resources. It happened to us multiple times in previous series, so I really don't think this is huge. Maybe later in the game when you really want to get coal for to be able to build factories and train stations in all your cities, then it becomes more relevant. But for the early game, I usually can play like without horses and without iron, so I don't really care about this too much. What can be nice is that we can sell more resources and get more gold that way, so maybe that's like the most relevant use of this first part of the unique ability. Then we have Ostrog as our unique building, which is a replacement for Arsenal. So as you can see, that comes into play in like a late, I think it's Renaissance era. +1 production and gold for camps, mines, lumber mills, and strategic resources. That's a really nice bonus. But again, it comes into play quite late, so then it doesn't give you as much as some other unique buildings that maybe don't give such a significant bonus to so many like different improvements, but you have them since, let's say, classical era. I really prefer buildings that come into play much earlier and I can play around them. It's really difficult to play around the unique building that comes into play at a stage when most of the time the game is already more or less decided, right? So it will be nice having the Ostrogs, but I don't think they're like super relevant. What else is there? Increases the city's ranged strike range by 1. That's nice when you have to defend. Again, it's nice when the AIs have this. It makes it a bit more difficult fighting against them. But for now, for us, I mean, this again won't be that relevant and allows indirect fire. Yeah, whatever. Military units supplied by the city's population increased by 15%. Enemy land units must expand 1 extra movement per tile if they move into a tile worked by the city. So again, it's very nice defensively, so completely irrelevant for what we are planning. Empire needs modifiers reduced by 5%. And then we have Cossack, which is a replacement for cavalry, so it comes into play even later than Ostrog. Only the Russians may build it. The unit has a combat bonus when fighting enemies that have already taken damage, and its attacks can force enemies to retreat. I'm not sure if I like the retreat option. Usually when I'm attacking something, I want to kill it, so I don't want it to like move away from me when I hit it. So I've actually never played with Cossack, so I'll have to test this. But there is some pretty significant changes to how like cavalry type of units, or the whole cavalry line of units basically works. As I understand it, they changed logistic, and not just logistic. Basically, when you use your last attack, you can't retreat anymore. So no more running in on a railroad, attacking twice and then retreating over half of the map to safety. When you attack twice, you are stuck in the front line. So this will make the cavalry units significantly less effective. When you get logistics, I think you can still run in, attack once, and then retreat. But then you kind of losing logistics and replacing it with like the option to retreat. You won't be attacking twice. So maybe I'll just go with extra range for my range units, and I may not even use the mounted units at all. I'll just go with +1 range, normal range units like, you know, bowmen, crossbowmen, and see how that works. That's one of the changes that's probably most significant to my playstyle. So I'll have to test in this series how everything is gonna work, and I have a feeling this may slow us down a little bit. We might not be able to expand as quickly. Okay, so that's our unique unique abilities. And now when we jump into the game, one more thing maybe. Let's check at least the early tech tree. There are probably some changes later, but here I want to show some of the most significant changes, because these changes could affect your decision when it comes to like the starting location you would like to see. So, as you can see, trapping has been moved down, exchanged with, I think, all these three were actually shuffled. I think trapping was on top, pottery was here, and wheel was in the middle. I'm actually not sure about the pottery and wheel, but these were shuffled around. Oh, and also pottery now reveals fish. I think fish were revealed by fishing before. I didn't check all the details. The important thing is that access to settlers is up here now, which is not ideal. So you have to decide how early you want to expand, so how much you want to prioritize pottery, and go with the tag that I usually take the last. The tag that was up here, I usually took quite late. So it was either this one that I took last or this one that I took last out of these 5. And when you have pottery with settlers up here, that may force you to take the tag a little bit earlier when you want to expand. But we'll see about that. There was also one more change. They changed the tag that reveals bananas, but it's not super important. Then we have here mining. It's where it used to be, but with mining you now get pyramids. And well, that is quite significant change. So sometimes if you want to expand, you may go like mining into pottery and get the free settler here, the option to build settlers early, something like that. You get the increased work speed for your workers, so you can improve the territory that you gain this way faster. But I still don't think this will convince me to go for mining early, because I think now the ideal route, if you want to like develop your capital early and gain the lead, would be wheel into calendar into pottery trade writing, and just build Stonehenge to get the free council and your pantheon, and then a rush temple of Artemis. Because when you get a free herbalist in the city, that's huge, especially when the city is in the right location. Also, the extra food that you get, the production for range units might be pretty relevant early in your capital, and 2 specialists in the city no longer produce unhappiness from urbanization. So this is a huge boost. There you get 3, maybe even 4 things that are super relevant, and on top of that you are getting +1 culture from the wonder itself. Does it give any great person points? No, it doesn't. So that's the only weakness. What I liked about pyramids was that... Was it pyramids? Or did they change that? Maybe they just changed that I didn't notice. I think it was pyramids that used to give one great engineer point per turn, but I don't see that anymore. So maybe it's just completely gone from all the wonders. It might be a change that I missed completely. And I think also Statue of Zeus has been changed. There's so many changes that I don't remember all of them. So as we are taking up, I will just like always probably notice it when I get to the specific tag or when I build one there. As I said, for now I think the ideal round would be rushing Temple of Artemis and then trying to get a great library. That's what we're gonna try in this game, unless we are forced into some early military tags. If we get a warmonger next to us, because we are fighting against 7 random saves. I have no idea what we are up against. So if we get, I don't know, Monty Monty, Greece, and I don't know, someone similar to them next to us. This could change our plans. But well, you have seen the changes to the early tech tree, and I guess most of you already know them because they have been, or this change has been out for some time. It's just that for me, I couldn't update because of the previous series. Okay, fine. Now, about the starting location. So this is the first one. I really like this one, although we won't be able to get my usual start like on a hill next to a river with the forest for the early production. It's still pretty damn good with the double wheat. We have two different luxuries. Wine, I kind of like. I don't know why. Wine, really, the monopoly isn't that strong. The tile yields are not super strong, but for some reason I like the luxury. Then we have gold. We have some hills around here for more production if we need that, and there is potential for like horses. So overall, pretty decent, balanced starting location, which I definitely wouldn't mind playing on. I got this, I think, the first time that I like loaded the game and I was trying to find the starting location. I immediately thought like this is the one that I would like to play on. Now what I also like is it's not like somewhere in the middle of a jungle or a forest. There is a little bit of everything. So this opens like multiple options how we can progress. But well, it's the first option, so maybe I can show a little bit more. I haven't checked myself what more is there around here, so we can move the pathfinder. Let's say this way if there is anything that would change our mind about where to start. There is the wine, but if we wanted to get all the wine in the range of the capital, we would have to move here or here, and we would lose the mountain. We would gain the production from the forest, but I really want to start the capital on the forest, on a hill, I mean. So I think this didn't change anything. So the starting location would be here in the hill. You would get the wheat right away. Does it mean anything for us? It increases the importance of granary pretty significantly. And would we get the production? Yeah, we probably just want to get the gold. Maybe even buy the gold early to get the production for the early wonders. But well, we'll see about it. If this location gets picked, we'll think about how exactly we would start here. So that's the first option. Now when we load the second one, also, because there are all these changes that I need to get used to, I decided to choose 3 locations that are, let's say, above average or have like a pretty good potential to give us strong early development. This one I picked because when you are starting with so much jungle or forest next to a river with in this case it's jungle hill tiles where we can start our capital. There is a lake. We have double cinnamon. Actually, they renamed this from spices to cinnamon. When did that happen? I didn't even notice. It might have been in the game for some time, and I've been just calling the resource spices. Oh well, but it's cinnamon now. Very nice. Monopoly bonus +2 culture would be pretty relevant for us because it would speed up our border growth to get even more science, and more science faster, I should actually say, from our unique ability. So overall, this one is just easy, strong, and kind of straightforward in this case. When I started playing Deity on Vox Populi and Deity, I was like trying to figure out the ideal start for me. And the first strategy that I figured out was how to get a strong start when I'm in the middle of a jungle. I take advantage of how is it called? Goddess of Renewal, the one that gives bonus when you are working jungles and forest. And from there you can snowball very, very fast. So this one It's like ideal for that strategy, and with a good... Let's actually check if we can see more cinnamon around here again. I'm gonna move... Actually, there are hills, so... not sure what to think about this, because this would be my starting location here. I guess this makes the capital almost impossible to take for anyone, so really, really well positioned for defense. But what I was talking about, if we can get the monopoly bonus early, this could snowball super fast. And we could probably just get out of control by medieval era or something like that. So I'm not sure if this one is maybe too strong. But well, I wanted stronger starting locations, so this is number 2. And then we get number 3. I think this is similar to number 2, except we have different luxuries. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it's not as much jungle. Oh, we do still have cinnamon. Never mind. And we have chocolate. So this one is actually maybe even stronger. It's just we don't have that much jungle, and we could decide this is probably coast, so we can either go coastal capital here without access to a river, and or maybe even here, so we have a hill jungle start instead of just a hill. But this one would give us a start next to chocolate, which is like insanely strong. And we can check here, or we can go inland and start the capital here. But I think that'll be a mistake when we are so close to the coast. We should probably take advantage of that. Even on a Pangea map, coastal cities are still... Like, when you have the option to get them without losing too much, it's still nice to have them. Bananas. If we start on the coast, you'll never get that. Oh, this is the change, I think, that you can now see bananas right from the start. Is that the change? I think before you had to research something to see bananas. So maybe that's been the change, that bananas were moved to agriculture from something. From maybe pottery, was it? I'm actually not sure, but I'm pretty sure in the last version that I used and all the versions before that, you had to research something to be able to see bananas. Okay, well, this is option number 3. Maybe this one, actually, when I'm thinking about it, I thought the second one was strongest, but the more I'm looking at this one, the more I'm more convinced I am that this one is by far the strongest, because of the flood plains, not flood plains, the grassland and plains, because here we have even a pretty decent chance to get horses, which we probably don't have in the jungle in the second option. So yeah, I think this one is the highest potential for really, really hard snowball. Okay. So I think that's all that we can say right now, that we can like talk about or check. I don't think there is anything else. So it's now up to you guys. You have 24 hours since I upload this video to vote. So option 1, 2, or 3. And the one that gets most votes after 24 hours we'll use for this series. And once again, when I upload the next episode, I'll make all these 3 starting save files available. I think that will be all for this episode, so I hope that you liked it. I hope that you're gonna join me for this series, and until the next episode, have a good time. Bye bye.